think we're live. And there's only the people actually in the stream actually watching. Give it a minute.
There goes. It's going now.
I got a ding.
Ding.
So, yeah, dead air while we wait for... Oh, no, there's 4 people watching. Geo turned up. Geo! Thanks for turning up, Geo. Somebody else sent us some love. Well, I'm going to do a wee shell thing around everywhere. Richard and RCA. After party. Welcome. Woo! Party time.
Hello, hello.
Peace and respect to you all.
Every time you say that, man, I picture you bowing.
You picture what?
You bowing. You do your wee thing.
Oh, well, I do.
I bet you did do it when you said it there. That's what I mean.
Well, not this time because there's no photo.
You should have just said yes. Everybody would have believed you anyway. Nobody's seen nothing. So welcome all back to the after party. We posted the link and nobody felt like joining except for Richard. Maybe we're not good enough. This is the dredges of YouTube.
It's all the ginger. It's all the gingers in the live stream here.
Have you heard of Quentin Phillips, RCA? He has an entire server dedicated to gingers, and he's ginger. He actually looks like that guy. Do you remember the one that South Park made fun of? We've got souls. I go to church every Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's totally, if he watches this and pops in, I'm going to get my ass kicked for that. They made fun of you in South Park, Quentin. Yeah.
Well, he's Ginger Jesus one, right?
Yeah, he dyes his hair and does that whole thing with gingers have no souls.
Oh, yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, because we've got no souls for ages. We've had an advantage on everybody else for years, like.
Yeah, well, as we age too, our hair goes white, so that's always perfect.
Oh, my hair fell out long ago, man. You seen me off screen. I'm bald. I shave my head.
I'm starting to get receding. I'm starting to recede a little bit.
Every 3 days, 4 days now, I shave my head. Why the fuck?
Maybe the whole ginger thing is just a misunderstanding. Maybe because the other people don't have souls, they perceive that the gingers don't. Maybe that's the problem.
Richard, we said go for
Yes.
the whole. We mentioned it off screen. Elaborate on your so we can have it on a second video. Jesus is a ginger.
Yeah, I think Jesus is a ginger. I think that the Old Testament law that when a man's beard go gray, he dye it red is a wink to Jesus. That's what I think that law is there for. It doesn't make sense for anything else. I mean, the Hebrew people are not typically gingers.
No, they wouldn't be. It has happened. I have seen people of darker skin, very dark skin, with fucking ginger hair. And within this last 6 months at a big play park thing with the kids and all, like, there was 3 or 4 of them running around, and I had to double click. It definitely caught me offline, but it can happen.
Yeah, I've known a few ginger black men. Now that sounds really odd, but they were albino, and it allowed their ginger to come out.
Oh. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Because the ginger would generally be recessive.
Yes, very.
Huh.
And now we're all picturing albino gingers.
Albino ginger black men. Yes.
I have to Google this.
Do you not watch Black Lightning? Does nobody watch Black Lightning, Flash comic book shows they have on the CW network? No.
Unfamiliar.
The main bad guy in Black Lightning is an albino white guy. And I'm not picking on anyone. I'm just saying he is, and he's super strong, and it's like a whole eugenics thing. Like a mutants, X-Men. It's very good. Black Lightning, give it a shout out. Support and the streams. And does CW Network want a Patreon? Go for it.
I'll tell you a funny story on me. When I was a kid, I had the 2 words albino and cannibal mixed up.
Oh, I clicked the wrong one.
And
I was just about to do that, man, and then I was like, "Oh no, RCA's done it." Oh no, he hasn't. Sorry, you were saying, Richard. Go on ahead. Apologies.
I had the words when I was a kid. I had the words albino and cannibal mixed up. And a friend of mine invited me to his house. We were probably about 8 years old.
Oh no.
And he says to me, he said, "Well, my mom's an albino." And I thought, holy crap. So I asked him what we were having for dinner, and to make sure it wasn't me. And then when I showed up and she answered the door, she was very scary looking because I'd never seen an albino before.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure she was going to eat me. I just thought for sure.
It all makes sense now. You survived cannibalism. It all makes sense now. Oh, Richard, did you have a chance to look up the guy Michael Tellinger that I told you about?
I have not.
You definitely should, man. Definitely something you should look up. He's been releasing videos left, right, and center now. His sort of theme park is getting ready to go.
Theme park?
Well, not a theme park, but circular stones in South Africa are special stones and sort of PowerPoints. He's found Anki's house. He's also found the Adam's calendar, which is the point of a cliff where I'm going to say this on record, where the Anunnaki actually did the first experiments and converted us from what we were to what we are now. It's Michael Tellinger online. Can't miss him. He's got a show on the Gaia Network, whatever you want to call it, GIA.
Yeah. I don't know. I watched Dr. Josh and Miss Megan Lewis's series. I'm quoting them. I'm not using vulgarities on my own. I'm quoting them, bitching about Sitchin.
Oh yeah, no, love that there. I was definitely encouraging that to happen, man. And in a stream one time, the only thing that I miss out of the old streams with Digital Hammurabi is that Megan used to say penis an awful lot.
Yeah.
Just randomly. You'd be doing live streams.
Just out of nowhere.
Yeah. And it'd just be like, what's the crack? Penis! There you are. Demonetized.
Took care of that real quick.
My favorite stream.
In their series, go ahead.
My favorite stream is the hat stream. Have you seen the one where they get all the hats out?
Yeah.
That's my favorite stream, man, because that was actually me in the chat. And that I know that's selfish and look at me, I'm class and all, but I mentioned something about Skylar's hats and all that there, and then the hats come out. Now I was like, brilliant. That is one of my favorite streams. They were in earlier before you. I felt so privileged.
Yeah. In their series about bitching about Sitchin, they were showing the etymology of the words that are normally translated by Sitchin and his ilk as the Anunnaki must be from outer space, that they must be from princes from the sky or royalty from the sky, something like that.
Oh yeah.
And they shown where it actually doesn't mean that he's breaking up the word incorrectly. And I thought it was something interesting worth looking at if people are interested in what Sitchin is saying as far as his documentation.
He has no idea. That's basically it. He doesn't understand.
It's pretty much that he's using the words. He's splitting up words. He's splitting up complex words and words in ways you can't split them up.
Yeah. Like the word in context is taken as 3 syllables, and he splits it into 2 and 1, and that makes it an alien thing. He can't do that.
Right. Yeah. Okay. You saw the same show.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying, but oh no, I watched them. I do watch. I'll be honest, I haven't watched an awful lot lately because there's been so much going on. I've had a whole work thing that's shit, and then the channel's sort of been doing this and doing the production and stuff. Just have an awful lot of time. I don't have an awful lot of time, so to speak, at the minute.
Yeah. Your production stuff is beautiful, by the way.
Well, man, you have an iPad. All the edited videos I do, the live stream I use OBS, but all the edited videos I do, I use software on my smartphone. You can get it downloaded from the Google Play Store, the App Store. You can do all the exact same thing. It usually takes about 20 minutes. Once you figure out all the wee background buttons and stuff, the only problem
Yeah.
is the main software I use is KineMaster, and it does put in the very top corner, made by KineMaster, unless you pay 20 quid for a year. But 20 quid for a year, it's not much, like.
It would help me if I knew what a quid was.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I'm 1.4 of a dollar. Like a dollar would be 1.4 or 1.5.
So it's something around $35 a year, something like that. That's
Something
not much.
probably 30, 35 quid a year, something like that, yeah.
Okay.
But it's like a really big watermark. It's fucking huge. It's an awful watermark. But I've used it 3 or 4 times, so yeah. I'll make you a wee intro.
RCA. I'm sorry.
No. I was just gonna randomly. I'll make you a wee intro, Richard, if you want for your channel. It's no problem. There's plenty of information of you out there. I even found a stream of you the other day. I'm looking to watch. It was in your liked videos from like 6 months ago, and your beard was bushier. It was a big owl bushy. You know, I've got a few wee screenshots and stuff. Yeah, I'll make you a wee intro video.
That was before I decided to start combing it before every stream.
I know.
That's just how it looks during the day when I haven't combed it.
Beard oil, yeah. Sorry, right. You were about to ask RCA a question. Go on ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna ask him. I mean, I've seen you in side chats. I've heard people refer to you. I think that the general community that we're in has apparently some amount of respect for you, and I would think that would probably be well founded. Would you tell a little bit about yourself, just so I can hear it from the horse's mouth?
Yeah. Originally, I kind of just started by showing up in Nox streams, and I did a little bit of trolling of Eric Hoven for a while and Kent Hoven for a while, and really giving them hell. And then I joined Nox Discord server about I don't know 3, 4, 5 months ago, somewhere in there. And I had a rough go of it at first. I was kind of a hardcore atheist, I guess. Like I was nothing's true, no religion, fuck all that, you know, that kind of.
We all do.
Yeah.
Just interrupting. This is the only time I will. How long ago was it that you had your deconversion, or?
I was never ever brought up with religion. When I was a kid, I was raised in part with like a family next door. Like our families were close, and I would go to church with them 2 or 3 times a year. But I never bought into it. I never had any upbringing with it. So I think that really defined me as an atheist, as a character. I never really falling into what some people would call pitfalls of religion. But yeah, getting back to what it was before. So I started joining in there. I had a rough go of it. I got banned a couple times from Nox server and whatever. And now I mod his server. So, you know, that just kind of shows the 360 that I took. And I found that, you know, listening to Nox and his rationality towards other religions and other things have kind of softened me a little bit. And then I started listening to Richard Mattson quite a bit, and that kind of softened me even a little more. But, you know, I still have my troll moments with some of them, like with Jill and those guys. So, but yeah,
those guys are really setting themselves up to be targets, because they're making a lot of claims they just can't show.
It's a whole new stick with them, man. I find in this last couple of months they've just went for ball.
Yeah,
Go on ahead.
Yeah, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. I talk too much, man. RCA, go on ahead. It's your show. It's your after party. Go for it.
Yeah, they're just a little bit too extreme for my taste. They're all about, you know, telling the LGBTQ communities that they're wrong, and they're, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just not down with that. You're going to burn in hell. That's not a way to, if you're looking to actually help people, that's not a route that you want to go. You don't want to be telling people that they're wrong all the time, and that, oh yeah, you need to repent of your sin and stuff like that. That's not going to fly. Nobody's going to buy into that. It's just, you know, like if I'm at this point in my life with whatever my belief system is, and then somebody comes around and starts pretty much giving me negative reasons to not go to that religion, even if I'm on the fence about it, like you're not doing it right. Richard is doing it right. Like I said in a live stream the one time, if there's hope that one person could convert me to a religion, it's probably Richard, because he's so tolerant of everything.
Well, that makes two people that said that. Marty said that as well.
Yeah, because you are literally the champion in my eyes for like modern Christianity and tolerance, and the whole I love message is really written through you, and you can tell that it is, and that
Well,
you're sincere.
I pray I'll never disappoint you.
Well, I
No,
won't
man,
say that you could convert me, Richard, because I still have questions, but you've definitely made me think more than anyone else. I still would be a proponent, if I had to go that direction, of an ancient civilization over ancient aliens. But
Yeah.
you've definitely made me think an awful lot more than anyone else. I do appreciate this one guy as well. He is admitting
He's
to being
changed
a Christian,
a lot.
but yeah, he is in the way. He's trying his best. And the other night after the stream, I think it was yesterday, after one of the streams that was on, he was in my server and I was just lurking, and the man's honest. I don't fucking know. Just, I'm shit and I'm stupid. I say things that I make mistakes on. Fuck it. He's at least being honest about that. Honesty is the best policy. And if anyone is honest, you can tell when they're honest. That's why we know people like Standing for Truth, people like Darth Dawkins, that other person, I won't mention his name. They're bullshitters. Honesty is the best policy. And you get to know someone when they're honest. You get to understand the
part
actual.
I really can't understand is, I mean, it's just like RCA said. Even if you're a liar and you know it, and you're promoting something that is a lie, and there's a majority of people that knew it, you could at least be nice about it. I don't understand this. And the first time I heard this quote, it was actually, and I'm not picking on Richard Dawkins as an individual.
Not a
But
fan,
and
but
maybe it was even put out of context. I'm not even certain. But it's hard for me to imagine this context being twisted worse than it appears to be, or even better than it appears to be. And that would be the following: that he'd said that people who are religious deserve to be made fun of. And I think the religious community adopted that same idea. I'm not saying they got it from Richard Dawkins. I don't know. But it seems that they've adopted the same idea. You have people like Nephilim Free and Jill, and who are obviously, and G-Man, who are obviously trying to make fun of people in order to make themselves look right. And I just can't agree with that.
Yeah, no. The way that they handle it is beyond ridiculous. It's like the whole Canadian thing. I had a thing with Jill about Canadians and all this stuff, and it's just false claim after
Is
false
this the part
claim.
where he knows your laws better than you do? Was it that conversation?
Yeah, he was telling me about, like, I'm a gun holder, I'm a gun carrier, I like to hunt, I like to fish, I like to do all that stuff, and he's telling me, oh yeah, you can't take your guns outside, you can't walk your dog. What was the most? Oh yeah, Canada legalized bestiality.
Oh my goodness.
That was one of his claims, apparently. So.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's loving that
just,
at the minute. He, that particular group is loving that whole bestiality and all the rest of that. They're just loving it. Like, it's.
What is up with that?
You're
I don't
noticing
know.
it
I don't
as
know
well,
what their
Richard.
obsession with it is.
Yeah, it's a triggering point. That's what it is. They use it to trigger people. Like, here we are talking about it, and none of us like it, none of us are into it, and everybody thinks it's an awful thing, and here we are talking about it because of them.
Oh, I guess you're right. That the best thing to do is just not even give them the recognition that they want, the attention that they want in that venue.
This is the awfulest thing. This is now, when I bring this up, this will be the 5th time that I'm going to mention that person's name between the last 2 streams, because it's got so prevalent now in the community. It's a topic of conversation no matter what direction you come at. You always end up mentioning, as part of that topic, them sort of people doing that sort of shit. Like, I would be a troll, and people do troll, and we've got Wildheart, and we've got, other people in the things and that are trolls. And Doorknob Head, you've seen Doorknob Head. he's definitely Doorknob Head has some amazing things to say, man, and
He's bright.
he's very, very smart man. Very smart man.
Yeah.
He's also a card carrying Satanist. He got his card and all
Yeah.
there about 6 months ago. Fair play to him. But he trolls, but you know that the man's smart. Because he
Yeah.
trolls well. Like, that's why I
Yeah.
like God the Good One. He had some trolls that jumped into his chat last week, and they were making jokes about babies and pedos. And he was like, look, if you're not going to actually put a fucking bit of effort into trolling, why even come here? That's just, be smart about it.
You have to appreciate that at some level.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my opinion on Daniel is I don't care if it's 2nd or 6th century because the historicity's been disproven anyway.
What do you mean by historicity has been disproven?
I mean, we can show there's much more evidence against the Bible ever having happened on this planet than there is for it.
Oh, yes. So basically you're saying the Bible's bullshit.
No, I'm saying it's not a history lesson.
It's not a... Okay, yes. No, I get you that. Yeah, sorry, I paraphrased. It's not a history lesson. I would agree with you.
Yeah, it's not even intended to be. It's just using natural surroundings and some actual people who lived to explain something that's much more important than history in the opinion of the text.
Something very similar, man, along the lines of what you talk. I maybe mentioned it before, but it's Stargate and the Ori, the series 10 and 11. Have you anybody here watched Stargate SG-1? No?
I know what Stargate SG-1 is, yeah.
RCA Shit, it's a Canadian show, like.
Yeah, but I've never watched Stargate though.
Well, the whole thing about series 10 and 11 is there is an ascended group of people. They were originally in corporeal form, they ascended to energy form, and they split. Some of them said that the lower beings that we are now should worship us, and the other ones we should just watch and not take part. And the ones that said that they needed worship, because they got worship, got stronger. They were known as the Ori, rechanged everything, made a whole book, like a Bible. And it was, long story short, the Ori were defeated, and one of the main characters that was originally for the Ori then changed sides and blah, 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 was like, what the fuck am I going to do now? I've believed in this my entire life. And one of the guys said to him, if you actually read the stories in that book and, take into context and take them metaphorically as they were meant, the book's not half bad. And that's sort of where the series ended. Obviously the gods were evil, but the book had some good things to say. Pure bullshit, but it had some good points to make.
There was a lot of different idea systems included in that short synopsis. Like a lot. That was pretty impressive. Those writers must have been really working at it.
I love Stargate, man. I'm rewatching Stargate SG-1 and Stargate Atlantis simultaneously. And I waited until I hit Series 7, Episode 2 before I started watching Stargate Atlantis, because that's where it came out in the order. Actual in real time. Oh, no, it's sad as fuck. It's so sad. But if I had to go and mastermind Series 7 to Series 10 of Stargate SG-1, I was sitting, and I say literally because I mean it literal, not like this bullshit fucking way that these young people use it. I did word for word for like 40 seconds. My woman was like, how many times have you seen this? And then did word for word as it was happening on the screen for like 40 seconds. And she was like, yeah, far too much. I said, yeah, honey, far too much. Great though. It was Series 7 at the end where they go and do the whole Antarctica thing and get that there. And it was originally supposed to be a movie. They were going to bring it out as a movie. But then they didn't think it was going to go down so well, so they released it as a double episode at the end of the series. And big budget, lots of shit. Yeah, Stargate stream. Only 3 people watching us, me, you, and him.
I think Sam's in there.
Oh.
So RCA, could I ask you a couple definitive questions about things you said before?
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you very much. Okay, so you say you went to like some church functions with the family next door when you were a kid, but you've never actually identified as religious. Is that right?
Yeah. Like they would take me there for Christmas, Easter, and there was a couple other days that were important that they would take me to. I would attend. I would do all their rituals and all that stuff, and it just never hit home with me doing it.
Right. The same thing for me was true in Catholicism. My mother required, so I complied. That's mom, but I never felt like it meant something to me personally. I always felt like I was doing it for mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was important to her, but first of all, none of it made any sense. Any of it that I ever heard, none of it made any sense. It never added up to something meaningful for me. I tried praying. I tried praying even after I became disavowed the Catholic Church and no longer called myself a Christian. I still tried praying for about another 4 years before I totally gave up on it. And I never had something that I could perceive as an answer to prayer without like reading into my natural environment and trying to see it that way, you know.
Yep.
So without purposeful confirmation bias, I just wasn't capable of even seeing something that might have been an answer to a prayer.
Yeah, no, I've tried to pray and stuff when I was in my teenage years. I kind of had a period in my teenage years where I was kind of on the fence about it a little more,
Yeah.
put a little more thought into it. And I think we all go through a phase where we kind of just don't know how consciousness sits in our head and how we evaluate the world around us. So,
Right.
the next logical answer is always, well, there's got to be a God, right? At some point.
We all
And,
have that deistic
that's
idea.
what's that? Sorry.
I had a deistic period, anti-theism, deistic, you work yourself through them different stages.
Yeah. You just kind of you don't have all the answers because you're not completely equipped with
exactly.
that in that teenage years, right? So I I tried to get into it, and I tried to do some practicing and some ritual, and it just never felt like I was getting anywhere, and nothing was getting
Right.
better doing it either. So it
Right.
was like, okay, so I got to make changes in my personal life, and then I'm going to really investigate this. So I started investigating, and like we've talked about the Bible in live streams and stuff, and it's you kind of get to a point where you're like, these are just people telling stories. This is all this is. It might have meaning to them at that specific time, but it doesn't really have meaning to me. At least that's how I felt when I was reading into these things. It doesn't
Right.
really have meaning to me. And the fact that you can point out contradictions, or you can point out some of the finer parts that you don't agree with.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you get to pick what your religion is to yourself. It doesn't really have anything to do with anybody else. You can pick out what the religion means to you. And to me, it just didn't ring home to make
Right.
me any more beneficial. I can still be who I am without having to follow laws, and being able to interact with the world and make sense of it now that I'm older,
Right.
in my own way, without having a figurehead that I have to atone to.
Oh, wow. That was a whole bunch of Christian doctrine. Um, I'm not, I, no, I, that sounded, it could be flippant. I'm sorry if it sounded like I'm being sarcastic. I'm not. It's just,
Oh, no worries.
it's just so true that in our European based society, where Christianity has been so prevalent for so long, that I go on to shows like Atheist Edge, and I love those guys. I'm not. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, you have another
But
stream coming up. Did you just do that today? Did you?
yeah, I just posted that today. That'll be Master Sergeant Hall and myself having a one-on-one conversation.
Oh, nice.
So what I find to be true is it's taken 4 talks of over, I'd say about an average hour each. 4 talks with those guys for 3 out of 4 of them to realize that what I'm saying is not their preconceived notion of Christianity based on society.
Yep.
It's just not what I'm talking about.
No, you're not. You're not a Christian. You're an atheist.
Yeah,
You pander to
I don't know
all.
what.
I love the fact that you liked the horse face video. Brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's taken a good 4 hours to get for them to have the realization that what I'm talking about is not their concept of Christianity, but it does strictly stay to the texts. So it's, I don't know. It's difficult to even get started. And then And then a lot of things you just said right there, and I'm not saying you as in I'm pointing a finger at you, but a lot of the things you said right there were very doctrinal in standard Christianity,
Well, it's
which
cultural.
is also where I was brought up.
Yeah.
It is a cultural thing that we've been brought up in a Christian culture. Like,
Yeah, and even somebody that's not Christian and doesn't identify as a Christian, when he's talking about religion, I fall back into that, oh, that's Christianity or Catholicism, or you know what I
Right.
mean?
yeah,
Sure.
it's what you were raised. It's sort of, at the end of the day, your morals, your ethics, and stuff like that. There is some of that comes from your Christian background. Well, not so much, but I do have one, and Richard does have one. But
Yeah.
like when I told my mother about my girlfriend being pregnant because we've been together for such a short time, I was genuinely worried because it's. Oh no, man! I swear to God, I'm not joking. You, I went to her house specifically and asked her. I was like, "Oh, Mum, can you make me dinner and stuff?" And she was like, "Yeah, yeah." I was like, "I've things to do in Uri," and that's where she still lives. And sweet bit from mine. Went up, had a shower and stuff, and she came up afterwards when I got changed and was putting my shoes on. And I was like, "Ma, I have something to tell you." And she was like, "Ah, fucking figured that. What the fuck? What have you done?" I was like, "Shit." Have knocked a woman up. No, but I put my point across and all the rest of it, and Ma was like, "Well, you're going to stick by it," and I was like, "Fucking sure, I'm going to stick by it," and there was no doubt there. And then that was it. And at the end of the day, I was financially enough stable and capable of doing that. It wasn't anything that I'd have to hear, "Mum, can you help raise the kid?" or anything like that. So,
Did you say stick bad?
pardon?
You said to your mom, is that going to stick bad or is she going to stick bad? Is that what you said? Because I missed a word there. I don't know what you said.
Yeah, you're confusing me now. You need to go back a couple more words. RCA, bit of help, no?
Okay, so you put on your shoes and your mom was standing there talking to you and you said, "Mom, I've got something to say." She said, "I figured that." And then you thought, is this going to something? What was the phrase you used right there?
She was like, "What have you done?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind.
And then, oh yes, then I said I knocked,
It's gonna be
I
my
knocked up a
cultural
woman.
ignorance. You'll just
I
have to live
knocked
with
up a woman. I've got a girl knocked up. That's what I said. I've got a girl knocked up. No stick. I
Yeah.
knocked
So
up.
because of your mom's belief, you were genuinely worried about how she'd feel.
How she would feel with me having a daughter, well, I knew it was a daughter, but having a child outside of wedlock.
Mm-hmm.
My mother got married at 19, I think it was, or 20. 19 or 20, my mum got married at, and she had me within a year and a half. That was the whole thing to do,
Yeah.
get married, have kids, and get a house, and whole baby boomer thing. Like,
Well, we are a little bit short on gingers, so I have to agree with her. So.
well, she's strawberry blonde, and she'll die in her deathbed as a strawberry blonde. She'll never admit to being ginger, but that's just what they did back in them days. That's what they did.
Sure. Yeah, my mom actually she got pregnant out of wedlock when she was in her late 16th year, and she was being raised Roman Catholic, and they took my eldest brother away from her and adopted him out. And none of us knew that he existed until he found us when he was 51.
Well, that is the thing to do, man. And as something very, very similar, my father's sister, in and around the same age, I think she was just turned 16. She fell pregnant, and her mother, which would be my granny, raised her, and we'll call her Alison as a random name. And Alison grew up her entire life believing that she was my auntie, more so than she believed that she was my cousin. She had an epileptic fit when she was 21. She got a bronze medal for the tryouts for the Special Olympics. She wasn't, she had learning difficulties, but she did an awful lot for a local charity service because she was quite high functioning, and she was one of the, what do you call them, like people that help out. She was like a leader in the place, and she tried out for the Special Olympics and she got bronze. If she'd have got gold, she'd have went on then to do the Special Olympics, proper like. But she had an epileptic fit in her sleep, and my granny found her, and she died always thinking that she was my auntie. And pretty much everybody in the family over a certain age figured it out, you know, and would ask questions. But something very similar to yourself, like she never knew. Never, ever, ever knew.
Maybe it was easiest for her that way. Maybe that's best.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not to say that she was. I don't think that anybody wanted to hurt her. You know, didn't want to hurt her feelings more than anything, and everybody just accepted it. It didn't really make any difference. You're my cousin. You're my auntie. What the fuck, you know? It made no difference. Like, you still hang about with the person.
Right.
You still have the crack with the person. The person is still the same person, and she could take a joke. Like, towards the end of her life, she had a mole on her fucking cheek, and it had a hair out of it that at one stage was about 1.5 inches long. And I just turned to her and I was like, Alison, would you just cut that? I can't stop fucking looking at the damn thing. And she was like, oh no, I was thinking of growing it and, you know, making maybe a wee beard, like a comb around thing. And I was like, just cut the damn thing. Just cut the damn thing.
Kind of like Austin Powers. Moly,
Moly,
moly, moly, moly.
moly. But yeah, no, she was great. I loved her. You know, she was fantastic. Like, you know, but these are the things that it was in that time, in that religion, man. As going back to what it was. I don't know if you've seen the story. I think it was maybe only a year ago or 2 years ago. Down south, there was a nunnery. And when young Catholic girls fell pregnant, they get sent to this nunnery. You know, old school Irish sort of shit. And when the babies were born, they fucking drowned the babies in like a tank out the back, in a septic tank thing. There was like 300 babies found dead
Jesus.
out the back.
Yeah.
You know,
Holy.
dead babies, send the girl back to the family. And this was a nunnery run by the Catholic Church.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'll send
Wow.
you the link in an email, both of you, if you want. Like, you know, I'm paraphrasing, but there was at least, I think, 300 babies or dead bodies, baby skeleton.
Yeah.
No, not nice. You know, they had a real bad view of it, which is why it's a good thing, again, that abortion and LGBTQ rights are being more recognized in this country, because we're a bunch of assholes. As a government, not generally.
I guess
I'm cool.
if the time frame had been much different, I might not have had an eldest brother.
I was very lucky. You know, I've had a couple of pregnancy scares, as everybody has had with a long-term girlfriend, and you know.
How many times you almost been pregnant?
Me?
Yeah.
At least 3 times, man. I know the joke you're going with. But yeah,
Well,
no.
you would have hit your quota if you would have had it 3 times, though.
Oh no, I've had a lot of pregnancy scares. The ex-girlfriend had a bad cycle, and oh fuck, man, no, I lost count how many times I had pregnancy scares. It's not funny. And even when you know, and you're being safe and all the rest of it, if the girl doesn't have in the right time, you still worry. You know you're safe, but you're like, you still worry. This is the thing with a man. This is why when my daughter was a year old and I realised how beautiful she was, I went through all the processes and had a police interview and got myself a fucking gun license. Them boyfriends be watching out. I knocked the fucking wings off a fly at 30 meters now with that air rifle. I practiced for a full 6 months. You think I'm fucking joking? She's gorgeous.
No, I think you're serious.
I'm fucking deadly serious. And saying that, I'll not have to worry. You know, my wee girl, we went to the play park not a month ago, and there was kids there 2 and 3 years older than her, and they were like, "Oh, do you want to come over here and do this?" And she was like, "No, over here." And she'd grab them by the hands and walk them over. And it was me, my woman, and the other kid's parents sitting there. And I just turned to my woman and I was like, "Raising a leader, honey. Raising a leader."
Yeah, no doubt. That's beautiful.
Oh, yeah. I'll not do the whole proud daddy thing because I don't want to embarrass myself. But with my love of watching documentaries on mathematics and things like that there and the conversations I be having, I'm convinced that whenever she's at least 2nd year university, she's going to figure out quantum gravity and get the Nobel Peace Prize, or the Nobel Prize in physics. That's my goal. I'm going to live vicariously through my daughter.
There's worse things. That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I could be like that fucking family in America. Have you seen I think she's an 11-year-old and she's a neo-Nazi and dresses up in Islamic ones and makes jokes about them?
Oh, I haven't seen this.
No, you don't want to, man. She's insane.
I'll be sure not to look it up. I'll just ignore you right now.
Yeah, I'll send you a link and you can ignore that too. She's insane. All right, like that's obviously from the parents. There's no way that wee girl's 10 and 11 and has that much hatred in her for somebody that she's probably never met. And if she's met anyone in a Muslim religion, it's through school. And that wee or that wee 11-year-old, he ain't a suicide bomber. No. It's insane. Well, there was a fucking crazy tangent. But
You went about 6 different roads.
yeah. RCA, do you have any kids? Without saying you have any kids or boys or girls or being specific, do you have any spawn?
Yeah, I have one 14, so it's interesting right now.
Oh, they hate you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
So-
no, that's a thing. After 11 and 12, you're fucked. You're just waiting for that moment where you're like, Dad, I don't want to hang about with you anymore. You're not cool like my friends. I'm dreading
It
that.
gets better when they get to be about 25. That changes,
Oh, yeah.
Because then they realize that they need you
Oh,
for
yeah.
emotional support and all that stuff. But yeah, right now we're at the no.
Yeah, get out of my room. Nah, clean your room. Fuck you, Dad. Yeah.
Everything's an eye roll and a dirty look, right?
Right. Hey, thanks for your dad work.
No worries.
Yeah, cut the Wi-Fi off, man. That's what it's going to be now. That's what you do these days. You just cut the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but I can't live without it either.
No, just cut it for them. Have you not got access to cut it for them? We need to teach you that. Yeah. You need to get that sorted where you just cut it for them. Do your homework. No, fuck you. You ain't getting. I was gonna say you ain't getting to watch Dawson's Creek. How fucking old are we, man? It's like there ain't no Dawson's Creek no more. Dawson's fucking hip creeks. Oh,
Man.
That was a couple years ago, wasn't it?
a couple, man.
Oh God.
A couple. Here right. We are of this age. Everybody has seen the original Blade Runner. Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's 2 months. November this year is Blade Runner, the original. It's set in November of this year.
Yeah, look at how wrong they got it, eh?
Yeah, look at how old we are, man. First it was fucking Jurassic Park, then it was Back to the Future, and now it's Blade Runner. Okay?
Yep.
Whenever somebody tells me Avatar, when it originally came out, and it's like 10 years, that's yeah, we'll definitely be old then. By that stage it'll be Avatar 3. I think they have 4 movies in line. They're actually planning and have done scripts for 4 Avatar movies.
Wow, that came out so long ago.
Did you
Like,
just Google
came
it?
out-
Did you just Google it? How long ago did
No.
Avatar come out?
No, I think it came out in like 2010, 2011, somewhere.
Oh
in
no,
there.
it couldn't be 10 years, man. It
Oh yeah.
fucking could not be 10 years. Do I have to
That's okay. 10 years ago for me is about 3 years ago.
No way. I'm
Hold
not
on.
even going to Google it.
2009. 2009.
10 years ago.
Yep.
I watched that like 6 months ago and fucking loved it. And it was amazing. And yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well-
one of the better sci-fi movies out there.
Oh, don't tell me that. I mean, that has
19
so many spiritual connotations. it's
Oh,
not even
definitely.
funny.
Yeah, I'll give you that, man. I'll give you that. It's a very. You still have to watch Battlestar Galactica, Richard. I've told you, man. You need to go and sit down and just dedicate an hour and a half, which is 2 episodes a day. You know, just an hour and a half and watch the second incarnation of Battlestar Galactica. It has such a fucking religious undertone. And
Someday I'm going to have time for that.
an hour and a half.
I'm going to.
You don't
It's
have an
gonna
hour and a
happen.
half. You've been talking to us for at least an hour.
I know, but you're alive and interactive, and that's more important, I think.
Well, that's true, man. It is true. In saying that, I have dedicated I would dedicate at least an hour to some sort of reading a book or watching a TV or something like that, because you need to get the fuck away from the internet for a while. Because as real as I am, you know, if you were sitting beside me, it would be a different experience. If, you know, we were sitting having drinks in a pub, it would be a different experience.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
I probably would slur my words just as much as what I'm doing now. I'm halfway down nearly my bottle, but it would be a different experience. You know, we could have a game of pool. You know, we could. You get what I mean, man. You know,
I don't have a whole lot of people like that in my life right now, that are physically in my presence that I can go and, you know, go shoot a game of pool or something. There's not a whole lot of that going on.
No.
I'm working very hard at building this channel, at building content. I work during the day, a couple hours a day, or about that, and I spend my time in conversations with just a few certain people.
Yeah, quite recently.
That's how most of my days go.
You're everywhere, man. Quite recently, like I've been noticing that. Like there's lots of you, and it's good to see that. Like, you know, but I from a purely selfish point and interrupting, and I'm gonna be selfish and talk because Richard, you need to moderate. My best friend in real life does a thing for the hospital. He does clinical coding, and Jack Talon, that guy in the Discord, he does clinical coding. He is alphabetically the next name in the line whenever we were put in tutor group, as they call it, where you go and do your registration in the morning. And I sat beside him from I was 11. You know, I've known him that long. Me and him actually found out about Kurt Cobain's suicide the same day. You know, like we were sitting there, and another friend of ours told us at the same, you know, I've known him ages. And there quite recently, he flew over to Leeds, and he could make possibly £78,000 extra a year, which is a decent amount of money on top of what and basically doing what he's doing now for maybe 10 hours less a week and an extra $7,000 a year. Now,
if he went to Leeds, is
Leeds
that what you said?
Would be England.
Oh,
so he would be leaving Northern Ireland and going to Leeds in England. And he went over and he did the interview, and this is his second interview, and he got accepted. And I was fucking really shitty about it. Not that you're a cunt for leaving me or anything, but just, I didn't want him to leave. Nobody, I'm like you, Richard, you know. As I said earlier with my female friend when I was talking to RCA, she left like 5 or 6 years ago, and all I've got is this alibi. And now he's thinking of fucking moving to England, and he turned it down because he didn't think he was ready. And I was like, thank fuck for that. Now that's really selfish, but fuck me, I've only one person that I get to talk bollocks with in fucking real life. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Oh. You've met...
as we age, right?
Pardon?
As we age, right? Everything kind of changes.
28, 29, everybody all starts to... Well, in saying that, I never really had an awful lot of friends because I'm blunt, I'm straight to the point, and if I don't like you, I'll tell you you're a dickhead. Like, I find it's the best way to be. I don't like to appropriate myself or be around bad people.
Yeah, no. Nobody wants to be around people that have bad habits, like super bad habits, I guess.
I spent a year and a half. When I left university, I went home for a while. Couldn't live back at home because you get your freedom. I then found a friend who had been a friend of a friend who had been kicked out of his house for the shit that he got up to. And I was like, I'm fucking mad. He couldn't have done anything more mad than me. Here, friend of a friend. Do you want to move in together and get a fucking house and we'll split the rent? Yeah, no bah. Yeah, within 8 months, I came home from work one day and there was 30 people in my house. He was having a mad party. He was passed out between the wall and the bed. Someone had ripped the fucking front off the fireplace. The hearth was on fire. All my food was gone. They'd stabbed the fucking inside of the freezer for whatever reason with a knife.
What?
So, yes. So, trying to get the ice out. They were trying to dig ice out of the freezer, and they stabbed the lines, and all the Freon went round, and the freezer wasn't working, so it was melted all over the floor. Oh, yeah. No, I give him a chance after that. I give him a chance. No, seriously, I give him a chance. I was like, no more of that shit. Because after that night, 2 weeks later, he stole my car while I was fucking asleep in bed. He stole my car with another guy. with a fucking camping knife that I had, that I used for camping, and I bought it from an army surplus store. It's like 10 inches long, black blade, because I thought that was cool. Had an army sheath and all. Yeah, he stole the car with that to go get cigarettes at like 3 a.m. Got it involved in a police car chase because they knew at the shop that he was drunk. He went to the fucking shop just up the road from the police station, like 500 yards from the police station, because it's 24 hour. Because that was
Obviously
smart.
a brilliant man.
Brilliant
Yes,
man.
very smart.
Very smart man.
Tactical. Tactical.
Yeah, so the police seen him get into my car, and then chased him, put the lights on, up and down. He abandoned the car, ran into a field, didn't realise that the field ended with a steep drop, fell down the drop, broke his leg, and then I couldn't kick him out because he'd been put on sick leave. And if he had no residence, he didn't get his sick leave. So I was like, right, I'm still stuck with this fucking cunt. Can't kick him out now.
What a terrible I'm sorry.
Right? So
Yeah,
I can't
thought
kick this
karma
cunt
I
out
thought
now, right?
karma was-
Oh, it gets worse, Richard. It gets worse, right? So basically, for the next month, I told him how fucking shit he was. And it didn't, well, not every single day putting him down, but fuck me, like, you know, look at what you've done with your life. Look what the fucking state you're in, like. Now he's spending all his money that he's getting on sick leave for the rent. So I have to buy his food. I have to pay for the coal. I have to pay for the electric. I have to fucking pay for everything. And I don't want to kick him out in his arse because his parents won't take him back.
Right.
You know, and his sister is actually fostering in someone else's house 20 mile away because the parents have kicked fucking her out too. So he's nowhere to go. So it's you know, I'm coming home from work pissed off because all my money's going into fucking running this house. And at this time there's not even carpet in the hall. The carpet in the hall has been stained that much after the 30 people in the fucking place spilling beer all over the place. And there was people in the fucking hall doing coke in the windows and everything. It was just... I came home from work to this shit. So I was never a happy person for the next wee while. So he felt guilty. And I came home one day, no electric in the house. So I'm livid. I'm angry as fuck. So I jump into the car, go down the road, use my last money in a $5 electric, come back up into the house, put the money into the fucking house. And he had been in the house when there was no electric. And I hadn't said nice things about him, thinking he wasn't in the house. And he left a note then on the coffee table, and he went about a mile up the road to the local tree, to the local forest area, and he left a note saying he was going to do that and apologies and all the rest of it. I switched the electric on, found the note, shit myself, went to his ma's house thinking he'd went there. She didn't give two flying fucks. She was like, oh, he faked cancer when he was in first year in high school. He's probably faking this shit too. I'm like, you're a fucking loving mother. Didn't know what to do. Went to my ma's house. And then about 10-15 minutes after being at my ma's house, which is maybe 2 or 3 miles from where I lived, he turned up. And he had a big red ring round his neck. He'd went to try and hang himself, but the branch had broke. So me ma took him in. She got shit sorted. I politely asked the man to leave. He then went and found a house with some woman that he'd knocked up. And he crossed the wrong people back to the whole fucking Northern Ireland thing. And he had to leave and go to America. And he went to America for 3 years before it was safe for him to come home. Came home, got a load of bollocks, and then fucked off back to America again. So there's a random story.
Wow.
Man, I've had a boring life.
Well, imagine that guy's life though, having to run from the IRA, fucking Canada or Ireland, America, Ireland, America, Ireland, America. Jesus.
In all honesty, man, I know 3 people that have been actually made leave Northern Ireland because of the IRA, and one of them is actually the son of a guy that runs the IRA in South Armagh. His dad was that not ashamed of him. He used to do fucking drug runs and get caught all the fucking time because he loved outrunning the police. He had a BMW fucking 3 Series with an M50 engine in it, and that thing could outrun every cop in South Armagh. I'm fucking telling you. And he used to do drug runs because they were fucking, you'd make a lot of money, you know? So, yeah. He got kicked out of the country by his own dad. His dad was in the fucking rally.
Wow.
Well, he taught me how to drive. But, Interesting,
That's
night, boy. Interesting. We haven't went above. We've got 6 viewers now, but we haven't went above. Oh.
Was there something we were supposed to talk about? I don't even know.
Oh no, this is why I do an hour of serious talk, and then I do the exact same stream, but then I rename it in brackets after party, because you know there's no topic in the after party as long as the conversation keeps going. You're grand. Whenever
Well, my cigarette timer has gone off, so I'm gonna go and take 5 or 7 minutes, and I'll see you guys later. Unless you just want me to clock out.
oh well, you can clock out and we can go 2 screen. I was thinking of going for maybe an hour and a half. We've been going for 56 minutes, so if you want to go and have a smoke, man, and come back.
Aye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Go have a smoke. This should work. Boom. Right now, I'm gonna take Richard out of the. Look at that. See. Production quality in this channel is second to none.
It's starting to come. It's starting to come.
Somebody could take that and that's a sound record there.
Clip.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I had my shit when I was a teenager too. We all do, right? Like it's you know, but that's fucking crazy. Getting chased out of a country.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, your boy Conor McGregor there, he's had his few spots of trouble too. So
over here it's extreme, man. You know, we'll be your best friend or your worst enemy.
yeah, well, and that's your culture, right? Like the Irish culture is so, like with the oppression of the Irish culture and early centuries from the British and the Scottish too. Like, you know, they've fucking had enough of that monarchy always beating them down. So what happens when that shit happens, right?
Well, I'll be honest, man. Whenever I first started in the company that I'm with, there's a fella that I've worked with. He started about maybe 8 or 9 months before me. Now, he's older than me. You know, he's maybe 7 or 8 years older than me and started in a higher position. When I first started, he was my boss, but he'd only started, 7 or 8 months before me. So I've known him. I'm in the company 20 years this November. I've known him that long, and he grew up in a very Republican area, in a very Republican family, and all the rest of it. But the exact opposite is me. So he's he doesn't give 2 flying fucks either, and we have the banter back and forth. We were in the company one day, and I asked him to do something, and he asked me to do something, and I told him to go fuck himself, and he goes, "Here, you black bastard, get the fuck out there now," just having the crack. And the manager of the company, the manager of head office, actually walked out to me and went, "Do you know I can actually do a report on him? Do you want me to, write that guy? I'm not going to say his name, but you want me to write him up? I can, And I was like, what? That old Finian cunt? He's only an old bastard anyway. And I give him the exact same. The face of the manager didn't know what to do because he doesn't know, because both me and this other guy had moved from the depot that we were in to actual head office. We hadn't started in head office, but at the same time, me and him had both been moved to head office. So we know each other maybe 6-7 years at this stage. The manager doesn't realise how close we are and what the banter is between us. And he's, "I'll get him read up and do the... That fucking old Finian bastard, he's alright, don't matter about him." Like, me and him are still the best of friends. He's left the company now. He plays guitar. He actually hand winds his own pickups based on a humbucker pickup, if you know anything about guitars. But he's got his own wee business now making them. And Counting Crows, the guitarist from Counting Crows, bought one of his humbuckers and has it in his guitars for doing live shows and give him free tickets. And they went to an after party, which on live stream, I'm not allowed to talk about the shit that happened at the after party. But yeah, if you've
I've
ever
always
heard
wanted
of
to try
Counting
one of those Hully Gullies that you guys make. I've seen them on some YouTube videos. Those are pretty awesome.
I have never heard of a Hully Gully.
No? Here, I'll see if I can find one. And send you a link.
Here, we can do this. You can screen share.
Yeah.
Yeah, do a screen share, and if that works, I'll hit a button, and then that should work. I'll share the production quality here. Like,
There we go. Can you see that?
not a damn thing. Hold on. Let me see if that. No. It's not working. You're not screen sharing. No, didn't work.
Oh, here we go. Hold on. Entire screen. Yep. I don't know why it's not working. There we go. That should work.
Yep, there we go. We've got RCA screen. We're going to add that to the screen. Boom. Right. And then I need to hit this button, which does that. Aha. Production quality. Brilliant.
Come on. There we go.
Holy Gully guitar.
Is that one? No, that's not one. Or hurdy-gurdy. That's what it's called.
A hurdy-gurdy?
Yeah. This thing. You've never heard of this?
Oh, no. Yes. Maybe.
It's like a wind-up while you play it.
I think I have heard of that. From where I came from, man, the guy not 500 yards from my mum's house, top of the hill, actually his house was built as, okay, I'll kick you out. Hold on. There you go.
Yeah. There
Boom.
we go.
The house that he lived in was the house not attached, but right beside the primary school that I went to. And it was for the caretaker of the school, you know, which was quite funny because whenever his wife ended up losing the job, whatever fuck she was, she took on the caretaker's job. So it did stay as the caretaker's house. But he used to make lambeg drums, and you'd hear him at like 11, 12 o'clock at night. Do you know what a lambeg drum is?
Yes.
Yes.
It's the
goat skin.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's made of a goat skin. He stretches the goat skin round.
Yep.
Yeah. And because he lives so close, he used to come around once a month and do like a wee winding craft thing where he would teach you the rope thing, you know, how to wind it. And each Orange Order had their own different way of winding the rope. They had their own pattern of rope and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
It was it was interesting. His grandfather was also in the B Specials. Do you know what the B Specials were?
No.
Oh, this is going to be fun for anyone who's from the UK. The B Specials was back in the day, like the 70s and stuff. Welcome back, Nerdy. Hello. The B Specials was basically an... how do I say this without being politically incorrect? They basically, if they thought you were in the IRA, they'd just go out. They worked for the government, and they would just be, no, they didn't work for the government. They did work for the government. No, they didn't work for the government. They basically would go out, and if they thought you were in the IRA, they just drag you out of the house and shoot you.
Oh. Damn.
Aye.
I'm looking them up right now.
They had their own outfit, so to speak, as in, you know, like what we would, like ski masks and stuff now is the way to go. Back in the day, they had the long trench coats. He has his grandfather's B Special jacket, and I actually got to put it on one time. Like he took it down, and yeah, because he actually was a prison officer. So like there's an army tradition, you know, in the families when people stay in the services and stuff, as you would find in America and Canada and stuff, service families. So he had his grandfather's B Special. So if anyone knows what a B Special's jacket is, I've worn it.
So they're kind of like the KGB equivalent in Ireland.
They wouldn't even have been that good. I wouldn't bring them to that status, but maybe because of the size of the country that Russia is, but percentage-wise and equivalent, yeah, they probably would be. Yeah.
Anybody that was kind of uprising against the government, they kind of put down.
Well, they did oppress. You know, I'm not going to say anything, as you said before, I'm Protestant heritage, but I know history. You know, I'm not going to say that England wasn't nice during the famine, and it wasn't just the famine that wiped us out. You know, they took everything from us. They wanted us to... I say us because I consider myself Northern Irish, more so than anything else. I'm not British. Jack Talon, as I said earlier, he's in the black, which is higher than the orange, and He wasn't even allowed to come to my daughter's christening. As being in the Black Order, he's not allowed to set foot in a chapel. He wasn't allowed to tell his order. If they found out that he went to my daughter's christening, he'd be kicked out of the order.
Wow.
Yeah, right. They are sort of.
Yeah, that's.
Well, they are getting a wee bit better. I might be extreming it, but 10 years ago, definitely he'd have been kicked out. Definitely. You know, but it's just the way shit is.
Yeah. Well, and it's, you know, like you said, it's the entire history of England coming in and doing what they can against Scotland and England. It's not, or Ireland. It's not just Ireland. It's all of, you know, England. They used to fucking take everything, but now, well, the UK, I should say, they used to take everything they wanted. Well, they can't do that anymore.
Well, look, man, I'll be on video right now on recording and say this. I voted Brexit. Now, I didn't vote Brexit because I'm xenophobic. I didn't vote Brexit because I hate them damn fucking immigrants coming over here or anything like that. What I hated is the fact that we had no control over what rules got implemented. At the time, I had 2 fucking dogs. I had a Hoover that was 5 years old that would hoover up every single hair on that floor. It broke. It died. I had to go buy a new Hoover. EU regulations wouldn't allow one as powerful as the one I had before. You know, I have a TV that's 12 years old. It wasn't energy efficient, you see. I have a TV that's 12 years old that's plasma. You can't buy a plasma TV now. You have to buy LCD or LED, or is it vice versa? You can't buy LCD. Whatever the fuck it is, they've made one of them illegal because it's not energy efficient. I put a brand new TV right beside mine of the same company. The colours won't be as bright. Yeah,
That's crazy.
I have 2 computer screens running here. One of them is 6 years old that my ma had laying in the house, and the other one is a year and a half old, and it's Samsung. And the colours are brighter on the old one than they are on the Samsung. Because it's energy efficient, we must be this, we must be that. Now, I understand, and I'm not against climate change and all the rest of it, but I should have the choice.
Yeah, that's like you watch a lot of even with the English, especially with the way they.
Oh, sorry, just interrupt. Nick doesn't be popping about that much because he's busy all the time. But hi, Nick. Just to say hi and shout out. Go on ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, but like even with the TV shows with England, right? Like you watch how they handle debt collection in England. You wouldn't see that kind of debt collection in Canada, where a debt collector comes to your house and takes everything until he gets every dollar back.
Yeah.
It's like
I have no
to
problem,
a point I
right?
could see where that's accepted, but at the same time it's like, holy fuck, these guys are coming to ruin your whole goddamn life just because you fell behind or lost your job.
And they will give credit cards to anyone, man. Anybody. It's fucking insane over here. It's absolutely insane. The rules that you have over there with the payday lenders, they're out of control over here. They were up around 200% APR. I think they've brought it down now. They've implemented rules to curb it, but it's still something like 300%. Now, I'm pulling numbers out of my ass, but, you know, it's still out of control over here. And they take advantage of people in debt. Like, it's the last week of the month. Time. And I've recently, as I mentioned before, had to change jobs. I'm down about £200 a month, right? Now, it had to be done, and long story short and all the rest of it, but I'm down about £200 a month. And this is the last week of the month. I don't get paid the fucking Friday. I had made homemade soup the other day, went and spent £1 on soup veg and got soup mix and made enough soup for the whole week. So for breakfast every week, I can have soup now. I've got breakfast in me. Last week I was fucking broke. I'm buying cigarettes fucking under the counter for $3.50 instead of paying £7. And the cheapest thing that I could buy for a breakfast when I went to the shop was a packet of crisps. Maybe £1, you know. I couldn't buy a sandwich. Sandwiches were £3 in the local shop. £3 for a fucking sandwich. You have to have money to eat well. You have to have money to look after yourself. The cheapest thing you could fucking buy. And if you don't want to put the effort in, like as I said when I made the soup and stuff, you know.
Yeah. See, like it's hard to imagine because Canada's pretty good price wise for stuff. Like our meats and stuff are starting to go up in price, but like our cost of living is pretty decent, I find. Like I can't complain considering, you know, 15% of every dollar you make goes towards your taxes in Canada, but that's going towards our healthcare and everything. So
Well, I lose, including tax, national insurance, and paying back a wee bit of money that I had from a student loan when I went to Queen's. I lose 370 in tax, national insurance, and paying back a loan.
yeah.
And the loan's not big. Like the loan only takes something like 70 quid a month. You know, most of that is tax and national insurance. And then on top of that, you have to pay rates. So rates have to come out, and they're 50 quid a month. Because I own my own house, I have to pay rates. And that
Okay, so yeah, that'd be like property taxes for us.
Now we don't have to pay water or anything that, but then I've got internet on top of that. So I've packaged everything in with the internet, my phone, and my landline. And I've packaged all that together. That's about 60 quid a month. And then you've got fuel. And then you've got house insurance. And then you've got car insurance. And then you get fucking all the rest of it. And I get above minimum wage. I don't know how anybody would work and live on... I don't know how anybody would work and live on minimum wage. Like, I get above minimum wage and I work close to 48 hours a week. The average working week here is something, you know, like in around 38 to 40. And then people on part-time, I have no idea how anybody would live on minimum wage. It would be impossible.
Yeah, I think our national minimum wage now is, or no, the provincial's at 15. I think they were going to up it to 60, but I think now the Conservative government's in Ontario, they've dropped it to, they're going to keep it just at the 15 bucks an hour or whatever. But like when America is starting to tie us in minimum wage, like in New York, they have the new minimum wage in New York for 15 bucks an hour. That's kind of crazy that America is actually putting in the effort to have some places where they have those stipulations in.
See, that's why I think that, you know, as bad as Trump is, it's made everybody aware of everything. You know,
yeah,
I generally don't think Bernie's going to win. I don't care that Ocasio-Cortez has backed him and all the rest of it. I'm not sure, but I'll be on record as saying that I think somebody like Biden, if not Biden, will be president because he'll get more votes. And then he'll have a vice president, and he'll probably pick Warren because she's a woman. And she has very similar views with Bernie, but I'm not going to say she's not progressive, but Bernie is very far left. You know, if he's 100% left, she's maybe 90. So Biden would prefer her. Plus, she gets the woman vote.
Yeah.
I don't think...
I just wanted to say to Eases and Works in the chat, you're saying 15 isn't enough, and I completely understand that. I don't think it's enough even in Canada either. I live way up north, so the actual price to get products to us is very expensive. So like when we go in to do our grocery shopping and stuff like that, just trying to get product to our area is very tough. And even just there's a lot of First Nations land around in my area too, and like just getting basic simple luxuries like water and hydro and stuff to them is super expensive.
Well, I was saying with the Brexit thing, I didn't vote against. I voted for Brexit, not because of what you would consider right-wing talking points or conservative talking points. It's for the silly things that annoyed me. I work in an area where I deal with an awful lot of farmers. They were getting screwed over. I said to them about certain things about their subsidies and stuff. Their subsidies were due to end next year anyway. So, you know, that was their point of view. I have a friend that I went to high school with who was best buddies with my previous girlfriend who I'd known for and went out with for 14 years. And her dad was a fisherman. He ended up losing his job because of the whole, probably a conservative talking point again, but he did lose his job. The only way he could get enough money to cover his 3 kids and the wife was to go and join an oil rig. So he was actually away from the house for 3-month periods at a time. And my friend was upset about that. You know, so these things personally affected me in that way. And I think if we go Brexit and what is sort of happening in the way it's going now, I think it'll force Northern Ireland and Ireland to become one single island economically. And
Yeah.
I think if people of both sides hate each other, they can hate each other all day long over the Bible. They can hate each other all day long over fucking flags. One thing they'll not hate each other over is money.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Everybody wants more money, right?
Everybody wants more money, and it doesn't matter where the money comes from. And if you can agree on money and you force Northern Ireland and Ireland to agree on certain taxes, and the south of Ireland already runs our electric. There was talk there, I'm not sure what it is now, I haven't read the newspaper, with Boris Johnson putting forward that with farms and agricultural, the north and south would have to match. You know, this is what I want. I want an economically Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland to become one island. I don't think that in my lifetime it will become Ireland and Ulster like it used to be, you know. But I would be more than happy, and I think the best way to go is to have Northern Ireland and Ireland working as one, okay, on name, on paper, to keep fucking people happy. It says Northern Ireland and Ireland instead of Ulster and Monaghan, or Ulster and this, and refer to it as the old way that it used to be. But people will agree over money. And if you can convince people to agree over money, if you go to enough fucking CEO meetings and enough free credit card paid for by the company deals, everybody will end up getting drunk and getting along. And hopefully by their next generation, their kids will get along because they've inherited the money. And the money's more important. But that's my reasoning for Brexit.
And I think once people realize that, you know, once the UK kind of steps back a little bit, then everybody will have a little bit of an easier time, especially if Ireland starts to control itself and starts managing its economy themselves. So I think it would be a better, you know, like you guys are so cultured there that, you know, why would it be a bad thing if you just Brexited and then
people go buck mad because oh God, the small businesses are going to be hurt. The businesses are going to be hurt. That's it. You know, the only person I can see being hurt in this country is Brexit. By Brexit is people with too fucking much money. You don't need 10 million. You've got 4. Shut your mouth. You know, you can still afford to go on your holidays. You don't need a helicopter. You don't need a private jet. Shut your mouth. You've 4 million. Keep your money local. Spread it around, and let everybody in the local area get the money more so than keeping it in an offshore account or whatever the fuck. But the point I'm trying to make is, I work for the biggest tire company in Ireland, and we have, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this online, but we have a depot in the south, which is 14 miles from the border. And another 25 miles from that, we have our head office. Right? That depot that we've had for 20 years nearly in the south of Ireland has been sold. And we own the shed at the gate. Now, I'm paraphrasing and I'm trying to hide, but yeah, we own this little tiny area we shed at the gate. And the company that delivers there knows not to deliver there, but to deliver to the other place. But the paperwork all says to the south.
Yeah.
Any company that's big enough to look after themselves already has a foothold in the south. So regardless of what happens, the people who are making the big fucking bucks are still going to make the big bucks. The business is still going to go. The only thing you have to worry about is the transport borders and driving back and forth. And that was always going to be put through because of the Good Friday Agreement. The Good Friday Agreement, as I mentioned earlier, were the people getting out of prison, and the agreement for talks or over violence, that guaranteed a free border. That takes precedent. You can talk about it for 50 fucking years all you want. That takes precedent. And businesses freak out and the market flips up and down over rumours, but that's what's going to happen. The big businesses are going to survive. They have a foothold there anyway. And I think in the long run, if Ireland joins together and we work and keep our money here, support local businesses. Go to your fucking market. You know, you don't need to be... I rant, I tangent. I'm trying to justify my fucking view on Brexit. Not that I have to justify it. I'm going to rephrase that. Not that I do have to justify it, but people give me dog's abuse because of it, because I voted Brexit. But I have my own justification. I have my own fucking personal experience. And now it's on record. I feel as if a little weight has raised off my shoulder.
Well, and independent Ireland is not a bad thing. I don't think.
It's
Personally.
inevitable, man. It's fucking
Yeah.
inevitable. Sorry, go on ahead.
Oh no, I totally believe in that. Independent Ireland is the way to go. You guys can strengthen your own borders, especially against the British, and especially with all the shit that's going on in the European countries right now. You can say whatever you want, but there's like an influx of refugees going into all the European countries,
Everywhere,
and it's kind
yeah.
of crazy.
I
And
I've
Ireland
worked
and
with
Scotland
three foreigners, man.
are-
I've worked in this last couple of years with three foreigners, and one of them has been here for ages. And you know, he's from Estonia, and he came over here the very first year that Estonia joined the EU, and he lived here for 8 months off the books. He even did a handbrake turn one day in the fucking yard, lost control of the car and crashed into the gate and wrecked his car. It was fucking hilarious. No insurance, no nothing. But you know, he's here now legally, obviously. But I've no problem with any of that. Come on over to fuck, like, bring your money and pay your taxes. You know, I had an argument with one guy with a fucking 20-year-old who gave me dog's abuse about fucking immigrants and this, that, and the other. He's a student. His mum's on the dole. I asked him how many taxes his family had paid in the last 5 years. Probably none. This guy that had been here for 5 years has put a hell of a lot more into our system than his entire family, who was born here, had. I have no problem with that.
No, and there's an influx of like rich people coming in from the Middle East into Canada, which is good because they're switching their money here, which is great.
Middle East money,
like-
can't go to America anymore. We're fucked there.
Yeah. So,
Sorry.
which is great, and we have lots of room to give in Canada. So I'm completely for the whole refugee party.
Oh
that
shit! I forgot about Richard.
Hello.
Richard,
Just enjoying listening.
sorry, man. Sorry, clean
No, it's
forgot
okay.
about you.
I've been learning a lot about politics in the United States that I was unaware of.
Well, I don't know. There you are. You're back. Totally sorry. I was doing a Brexit thing. He was doing an America thing. I got lost. I was looking at the wrong screen.
I was
Yeah,
totally.
You know more about politics in the United States, MathPig, than I do.
Well, whenever about maybe 6 or 7 months before Trump became president, you know, in and around that April time, I started watching CNN just for something to watch because Northern Ireland politics had broken up and we ain't got no politics anymore. It's Rouse and all the shit that came before. So Trump's entertainment value for me, Trump's satire, Trump's a joke, and then I got a wee bit into it,
And I also think that a lot of foreign people are starting to pay attention to what's going on in the States with Trump in power. We're kind of looking at it and we're like, what the fuck?
yeah, no, definitely, man. I think if anything, if it doesn't go full progressive this time, then Generation X and the millennials will have enough power the next time round. So if it doesn't go full progressive this time, it will go progressive next time. I've talked to my woman about moving to America in the next 10 years. She's totally against it, but it's definitely a possibility. If you full progressive, you're going to end up with free education. You're going to end up with social services that are capable, at least a living wage. You know, what it's at now at 15, having at least some sort of money each month. There's definitely possibilities of America becoming actually what it should be, the dream that is America. You know, if I moved to America, I'd probably be a bigger patriot than some Americans without being a white supremacist. But the idea that is America, I think in the next 10, 15 years, it's definitely possible. And with everything else, if America sets precedent, then the rest of the Western world can go that way. And I hate to use the word paradigm, and I might be wrong in using that, but a paradigm shift, I don't know. We can only hope. You know, we can only hope.
I think it's American. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Just looking at it from a Canadian perspective, you know, like the main thing that a lot of Americans say when they look at Canada, oh, they're socialists and they're blah, 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 blah. Well, I'm not a socialist. I'm actually a right-leaning Canadian that believes in humanism. And, you know, I believe that the government should fuck off and stay out of my backyard, and they should, let me have my guns, and they should let me go out and hunt, and they should let me shoot and stuff. But I also believe they have the right to tax me to help my neighbor survive.
Yep, as I said earlier, man, I own guns. I've went hunting as a young kid. We grow our own vegetables. We keep fucking 30 odd plus hives. We've honeybees. I like to live off the land. When I build my house in the next couple of years and make a bit of money here, it's going to be as self-sufficient and as resourceful. It's going to have, solar panels and maybe a septic tank that's eco-friendly that I can drain off to feed my fucking plants. And I'm planning with all that in fucking mind. The government has nothing to do. I want them to, you understand what I mean? I don't want to pay no mortgage. I don't want to do that. But I'll happily pay taxes and I'll look after the man down the street because he needs a hand, like.
Yep, exactly. My neighbor having free health care and being able to have a heart transplant is more important than me saving 15% on my paycheck at the end of the week.
I'm trying to work into a stream, an interview some night, but his English is really bad. I'm hoping to bring Eases and Works in because he speaks fluent Spanish. But there's a guy that I nearly ran over one day in a slipway that was trying to thumb a lift, and he'd come over from the south of America on sort of a whim. I think I mentioned this to Richard before about him filling out a dream that he had about being an Irish musician. He had like a previous life dream. And we hung out. I took him home, gave him a bed for the night, drove him from one end of the country to the other, then drove him back again the next day, give him a room for the night. We had the crack, and he's recently joined the server. Darius is what his name is, but his English is awful. He joined in the other night and he said he hung about for 15 minutes. He understood 2 of it. He doesn't speak any English at all.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to get him on. And as I say, he was a homeless man that was thumbing a lift, and you help the people around you. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, and even if your political stance...
well, he was a Christian on a spiritual journey. Yeah, it made no difference. Didn't care.
Yeah. Yeah, the politics in Canada, it doesn't matter whether you're liberal, NDP, PCC, or PPC, or conservative. They all believe that, healthcare and education come first. That's basically it.
Yeah. There should be free education. Like, I don't understand why people have to, especially in America, man. Your military budget is fucking insane. There's no need for it. It's not the Cold War, and increasing it isn't the way to go. And the wall budget, stupid. No need for that. How he appropriated them fucking funds, and there's so much money in America, and it is funded all into the top 1%, Bernie. There's so much excess money. Everybody in America could be fed. Everybody in America could have a living wage. Everybody in America could have a fucking education.
Oh, yeah. And, all they're doing by building up their army and military and navy and all that stuff is making other countries nervous. Like China, they're nervous, so they're going to build. Russia, they're nervous, so they're going to build.
Yep. Again, America leads the fucking way. You imagine if they took all that money and put that money into education, put it into social services, put it into free healthcare, right? They would then realize after about 10 or 15 years, they'd get a pattern, they'd get a rhythm. They'd be like, right, it costs this much per year. It costs this much per year for that. It costs this much per year for social services. The deficit would be then worked out. You can make a plan then. When you social service these things and you set out a plan for everybody, you don't have to worry about the banks caving and stuff like that. It creates economic stability. Because
I've got a great idea. Why don't we all just put down all of our guns that point at each other and just stop killing each other and do away with all the military around the world?
Well, you see, this is the thing, Richard. This is what I'm trying to point out, right? Whenever you realize, when they eventually realize after 10 or 5 or whatever, and hopefully sooner rather than later, that they can budget for this amount. Like, that's what I'm saying. This costs this, and this costs this. They then have a general amount that they can budget for each term, so to speak. They can then work out, right, Well, that costs 60% of what we take in. What are we going to do with the other 40%? We've already sorted our own country. Our own country has got free healthcare, free social services, and free education. We've now got a 40% budget. We'll throw 10 at the military. We'll keep a few fucking armies there just in case people get out of line. We now have 30% of our budget. What are we going to do? Go and fucking sort the rest of the world out. Go and fucking give these people money. Cancel that debt. Cancel that fucking debt. You have 30 million spare. Why does a country need 30 million spare? You know, again, I'm pulling numbers out of my arse, but why do you don't need it? Just cancel that debt. And in fact, then go and buy that person some food. Go and fucking send that person some solar panels. Go and pay that cunt Tesla to go and set up all his solar panels in Africa. Get that local fucking country set up with electricity and get a school system going there. I don't know. This is...
Well, the bottom line is the bottom dollar. That's all it is.
Exactly, man.
They're not going to do anything unless it benefits them and in some way. You know, like $200
don't get me
billion.
wrong. Don't scrap capitalism. Capitalism breeds, it makes things better. You have to fight for the dollar. But that's the thing, man. If you give everybody in the country, whether they have a job or not, $15 an hour, so to speak, or a living wage, a certain amount a month, what are they going to do? You know, marijuana will be legal by this stage in America. So everybody's pretty much stoned. They're going to want to go to the arcade. They're going to go to the movies. They're going to go and want to buy sweets. They're going to want to go out. They're going to go and want to go places. The money will be funded back into the economy. You give people money, they'll spend it. That's, you know, I don't keep money in my pocket. I keep it in a cup at the side of the house and I take out enough each day to pay for my lunch. Money in your pocket, you'll spend it. You'll put money back into the economy. And capitalism will still run. Just what America has at the minute is completely and utterly out of control capitalism. And the capitalism is then run by the politics is then run by the capitalists because they're paying the politicians. So they're getting away with even more. It's a vicious circle. You need to bring in a person, put a stop to it, and get rid of the out of control capitalism. Capitalism still is a good thing, but you can't have one particular system. You must have a mixed system. You must have capitalism. You must have socialism. You must have a wee bit of everything. But it has to be balanced. Same as your dad. Eat your steak. Don't forget your fucking vegetables.
Yep. And every Saturday have some French fries.
Yeah. I don't know. I rant. But these are the things that go on in my mind.
Well, it's easy for us on the outside looking in, right? Like we have systems that aren't perfect, but we have systems that are kind of working for our countries. And like you said, it's all about the bottom dollar in America. And they're, you know, $200 billion for one person just isn't enough, I guess.
Yeah, I don't understand the bonus system. Well, I understand the bonus system, but I don't understand the bonus system. It's fucking insane. Like, you know, there's no reason that person for laying off, for talk's sake, 1,000 people and getting the stock value to go up by 1 point, by it going up 1 point and they have 1 million stocks, he just made the company £1 million by laying off 1,000 people. Let's give that man 500,000. He did well. What? He didn't do well. He just destroyed 1,000 people's lives. They're now lining up on a fucking counter. Now them people, maybe out of the 15,000, there's 10 of them that are willing to work. There's 5 of them have just went, fuck it, I'm going to live off the system. As it would be in the UK, not in America. But these people are willing to work. Give them a living wage. Give them a fucking chance. You look at the school systems in Norway and all them, and I can't remember the exact countries because I've had too much fucking wine and too many 420s. But you look at them EU countries that have the top education systems. Their kids don't start learning until they're 6 and 7. They spend less time in school. There's too much pressure in this fucking system in the education to turn you into slaves. And this is all talking points. To turn you into fucking slaves, to set you up on a line. The education system was made for production lines. We don't work on production lines anymore now. We should be encouraging kids to think on their own. We should be encouraging them to think creatively. We should be encouraging kids to see a hole in the market and go and start a fucking business. Not go and work for a man that doesn't give 2 fucks about you. Go and actually find a business and start yourself. And if somebody could go out, leaving school, leaving their education, and getting a living wage, they could make the choice to save for a couple of months. Oh, boom, we've just got a wee bit of savings now. I can start my own business. Now, a year down the line, they've got people employed for them. They've got people employed then, and people who are employed then go and spend money. Give them a fucking starting point. The only reason I have my house now at 36 is because when I started working at the age of fucking 14, my ma took 25% of my wages. From the age of 14 right up to I was 18, my ma took 25% of my wages. When I left when I was 18, I was making £1,000 a month, and my ma was taking £250 a month from me. And the house up the road that I could rent was £52 a week instead of what my ma was charging me was 50 quid a week. So I moved up there. When I went to go and do that, I was considering taking out a loan. My ma handed me back half the money that she had taken off me in rent since I was fucking that age. She had used the rest of it to pay for food, and if I was stuck in needing petrol for the car, or if I wanted to go away on holiday and was £100 short, she'd give me that fucking money. And that's where the other half had went. It meant that I had a deposit to go and put down on a house that I could get out and rent on. People can't do that now because it's so hard to save. My mum did what the government should be doing.
A very wise woman.
Yeah, and in Canada, they've started government initiatives where you can get lower mortgage rates through the government than you can through the banks. So the government will set it up, then it goes through the banks, but it gives you a lower mortgage rate on your first house.
You see, the government's tried to do something like that over here where they split the mortgage 70-30. Where you pay 70% of the mortgage and they put down, or where you pay 70% of the down payment and they put 30% of the down payment down. But then you're owning 70% of the house and you're renting 70% of the house. So even when you go and sell it, there's back and front. And in the long run, it doesn't work out better for you. And to be completely honest, and nobody will give a fuck, the only reason I have this house is because I split. I had money, but I had to take a secret, like mob boss fucking loan out from a Protestant credit union run out of an Orange Hall in fucking Uri. You deposited your money through his letterbox at the house and you got a certain percentage back on it. And it was totally off the books. Nobody knew about it. And if I hadn't went and got fucking $3,000 off him to fill up the rest of my deposit, even though my mum had been helping, and even though from 21 to 30 odd I'd been saving, I still couldn't afford it. I still had to take an extra $3,000 out from a secret off the books fucking loan.
Yeah.
And that meant, man, that for my first 2 years, and I'm not bullshitting this, for my first 2 years here, I had a mortgage of £400 and a loan payment of £300 every single month. And I fucking did that for 2 years and lived on fuck all because it was possible and I could do it. But that's still, people don't put the effort in. I have a friend that lives at home with his mum who's 34 who tells me he can't afford to save. He can't afford to, put a deposit down. He goes out on a Saturday night and spends at least 80 quid in the pub every fucking week. Like, I know it's a conservative talking point, but pull your fucking socks up, man. Stop spending 80 quid in the pub. If you want a fucking house and you want to move out and you want to stop living with your parents at 34,
Here's the thing about conservative talking points, though. It's okay to be fiscally conservative. I don't see a problem with that. It's just, some of the conservative talking points are kind of shitty, but, fiscal responsibility, I don't understand how that's considered a bad thing.
Oh man, I love me some yellow stickers. Tesco's reduced section's my best friend. I've said it on stream before in this last 2 weeks, but I'm still using that bacon. I get 48 slices of bacon for £3.50. 48 slices of bacon for £3.50. And back bacon, none of this fucking American well, I don't know what it's like in Canada. You might get good bacon using maple syrup, but there's no back bacon in America. They basically have fucking pork belly sliced. They get streaky bacon. We call that streaky bacon over here. I get 48 slices of good back bacon. I'm still using that shit. The yellow reduced section, way to go. Live fiscally,
we have regular bacon and back bacon, or Canadian bacon.
Yeah. I spent a week in America and all I could find was fucking streaky, and it was more fat than fucking meat. It was just, don't know what just full of
they
hormones.
would just call that ham.
I won't even buy processed ham, man. I am a wee bit of maybe, I don't know what way you would want to call it, but I don't like processed food. If like my woman will buy ham and she'll feed it to the child and ham sandwiches, and the daughter loves it. If she's not eating, she'll definitely always eat the ham, you know? She'll always eat fucking bacon and stuff like that. But the only ham that I eat is one that I've spent a tenner on in the fucking butcher's or in the deli counter, and I've taken home and put in the slow cooker for 4 hours, and then I've put it in the oven and coated it in my own fucking honey from the hive out the back, and then cooked it for fucking half an hour. I won't eat none of that processed ham. You see how that shit's made? It goes white for a while. I have to dye it pink again. I ain't eating that shit. You know?
Well, it's like the beef. They spray it in the States and Canada to make it more of a red color, because it's actually, when it's butchered, it's more brown, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not naturally red after the blood drains out of it. So they spray it to make it look more red.
Yeah, that's strange, because my woman will not eat, you know, if it starts to go brown or anything like that. Like if I buy mince in the reduced section, you know, if you bought it normally, you have 3 days. I'll buy it, put it in the freezer, and then, and fuck, I don't care. 6 months time when I defrost it, if I don't eat it on the day that it defrosts, it will start to go brown. I'll still eat it, but the day after that I won't. And my woman's like, it's brown. I'm like, it still smells like mince. I was like, you don't go by the colour, you go by the smell. We make homemade jam, man. We have a couple of bushes. We have a couple of bushes that grow around my mum's house, you know, and they planted it specifically for this. And we had a whole fucking section grown of rhubarb. And the rhubarb was maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe more. And the jars, we made that much, are still there. My dad will take the fucking jar lid off, scoop off the top inch of fucking mould, put it in the bin, take the jam out, put it in his toast. Jam is known as a preservative. You know, people worry too much. My woman was nearly sick when she seen him do this. I was like, what's your problem? He's fucking eating mould. I was like, no, put the mould in the bin.
Well, I'm going to go for a cigarette break now and let Richard get some in, because it looks like the chat's been looking to talk to him for a little bit here. So
yeah, well, I'm going to give it another 15 minutes anyway, man. I'll wait till you come back. We'll do a wee roundup and then we'll go, because that'll be 2 hours. So,
okay, yeah, no worries.
Yeah, I'll wait till you come back and we'll do a wee bit after that. Can we all meet back? Richard, can you talk to the crowd for 2 minutes? Because my left leg my left leg's been doing a wee dance thing. I need to go I need to go to the little boys' room. So yeah, Richard, what's your favorite sandwich?
My favorite sandwich, peanut butter and mayonnaise.
Oh, I thought you were going to say peanut butter and jelly. You aren't original at all. Mayonnaise?
Yeah.
Right.
Have you ever tried it? Peanut butter and mayonnaise is amazing.
Man, I had an onion sandwich. Back in a minute. Richard, entertain the crowd. Can you sing?
I'll do the bit. I used to sing. I don't know.
Row, row, row your boat.
Okay, no. But anyway. Okay, so if I could entertain the side chat, if you guys have anything that you'd like me to address. We haven't spoken very much about my specialty on this show. We've been speaking mostly about society, politics, etc., as you know. And really, I try not to chime in too much on that sort of thing, because I mean, I'm not even educated about those sorts of things. I've never been interested in politics or anything like that. So I haven't kept up on it all of my life. I've been keeping up on mechanical things, and recently I've started studying spiritual expressions, but I've only been studying spiritual expressions since 2012. So at that, I'm severely junior. I feel that I'm very far behind the power curve, as they say, and I have a lot of learning to do. Is there anything I can do to respond to anything you guys would type up in side chat there? I would respond to it. How many people do we have that's over the age of 40 here?
Has it got
I would
that
tell
bad?
a joke, but the joke wouldn't make any sense unless you're at least 40-year-old American.
40.
Yeah, you'd have to be a 40-year-old American to get the joke. It doesn't make sense otherwise.
Right, we'll tell the joke. I'm 36 in UK, but we'll try for it. Go for it.
Okay, so none of this actually happened. It's just a joke.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. When I first got to Santa Fe, New Mexico, the city bus, they let local artists paint on the side of the bus. And the first bus I'd been on, it had characters from Sesame Street, you know, Ernie and Bert and Snuffleupagus and Big Bird and all that. So it had all these characters painted on the side of the bus. I got on the bus and paid my fare, sat down, and the first stop we came to, there were these two morbidly obese women, just extremely overweight. And they were kidding around and chatting with each other and giggling as women will if they have something in common. It turned out both of their names were Patty. So we got to the next stop, and an old funky black man got on, told everyone his name was Lester Weiss. So at the next stop, we picked up a man who was obviously mentally disabled, and he got a lot of attention for it from the people on the bus, and they all reacted to him positively. He called himself Special Ross. Moving on, we got downtown, and the bus parked, and everyone except for me, because I wasn't familiar with local tradition and stuff, everyone pulled off their shoes and started picking at their bunions. So I swore right then and there, are you ready? I would never again ride with two obese Patty, Special Ross, Lester Weiss picking bunions on a Sesame Street bus.
I'm back. I just walked in and I heard bunions.
Yeah, I've no idea, man. You must need to be 40 and from the USA.
That I was serious. No, it's an old McDonald's commercial with the words changed.
Ah,
I've got one. I've got one you probably would get though, no matter where you are in the world. So
right. Well, that's what we'll do. Right. We'll do a joke apiece, and then we'll round it up. That'll take the last 3 minutes. So, Richard, give us your joke.
Oh, okay. This is one I think almost anyone will get. So the Dalai Lama was known to starve himself on a regular basis and was very, very thin. He was also known to go shoeless, you know, to walk without sandals or anything. So he had very, very calloused feet. He was also known to be a very, very spiritual person. But all of these things he did as a spiritual practice caused him to have a bad breath. So, you know, by the time he got into his older years, he was a super calloused, fragile mystic with a case of halitosis. Okay, so everyone got it. It's just not funny.
Right. Okay. RCA, give us your joke.
All right, I'll go dad mode with this one. My daughter loves it, so I'll say, what do you get when you cross a werewolf and a snowball?
I have no idea.
Frostbite.
Frostbite.
Do you want to go again? Because mine's quite long and Richard's is quite long. Go for the dad jokes, man. Throw out 3 or 4 because mine's quite long.
All right. Trying to think. Oh, now that you got me on the spot, I can't even think of one.
Right. Well, I'll go and then you can do another one, right?
Okay.
Okay. So a man walks into a bar, right? And he walks up to the bartender and he says to the bartender, "Can I get a pint of Guinness or a pint of fucking whatever?" Like, and the man says to him, "Right, that'll be $3.50." And he goes, "Well, if I show you something amazing, will you give it to me for free?" And the man's like, "Right, how amazing?" And he's like, "Oh, it's fucking amazing. Like, it's amazing. Jesse Lee Peterson, amazing." Right? So the man's like, "Right, go on ahead." So he puts his hand in his pocket and he pulls out a little 12-inch tall man. And the guy's like, "What the fuck, it's just a doll." And the man starts to talk to him and do a wee dance and everything and all. It's a fucking real wee 12-inch man. Right? Like a little tiny person. And he's like, "Right, that's fucking amazing. There, have the pint. Have the fucking pint. In fact, have 2 pints." So he gives the man 2, but the man has pints. He says, "Thanks very much." He leaves. A couple of days later, the man comes back in again and he says, "Can I get myself another pint?" And the man's like, right. He's like, if I show you something even more amazing, will you give me pints for the rest of the month? And the man's like, what the fuck are you going to bring out of your pocket that's better than a little 12-inch dancing singing man? He's like, hold on a wee second. So he pulls out the little man again, and then he reaches into his bag and he pulls out a little tiny piano. And the man starts fucking playing the piano. So the man's playing the piano like fucking mad, having a great time doing all these mad piano tunes from famous people. Anyway, so the man then gets his pints, drinks for a month, has a great time. Comes back at the end of the month and he says, right, if I grant you any wish you want, will you give me free drinks for the rest of the year? And the man's like, grant me a wish? Grant me a fucking wish? He says, right, grant me a wish, I'll give you free drinks for a year. He says, I wish for $1 million. All of a sudden the man claps his hands and all these ducks start falling out of the sky. And the man's like, I didn't wish for $1 million ducks, I wished for $1 million. And he's like, well, do you think I wished for a 12-inch pianist? But 12-inch penis. No, I lost a viewer. I put the punchline out and I fucking lost a viewer. No, 12-inch penis. No, all right. Right, back to you, RCA. Come on, come up with something better.
Okay, I got some Canadian jokes. So, does everybody know what a newfie is?
No.
Nope.
No. Okay, it's a Newfoundland.
Oh yes, Newfoundland person.
Okay.
Okay, so the joke is in Canada that they're really, really fucking dumb. So, anyways, how do you drown in a newfie?
Put a scratch and sniff sticker at the bottom of the pool.
Damn it!
So,
How do you get a one-armed newfie to fall out of a tree?
You wave at them.
God damn, Richard knows all these. All right. Okay. What do you call a guy with no arms, no legs, and likes to lay in front of doors?
Matt.
Fuck. Damn it. What do you call a guy with no arms, no legs, and likes to play in leaves?
I haven't heard this one.
oh!
Russell. Oh.
What do you call a guy with one arm or no arms, no legs, and likes to go swimming?
Bob.
Yep.
That's Bob.
That's it. That's all I got.
One of my favorite guys, Bob. Yeah.
Do you know
Okay,
the sushi jokes?
at the bottom of the bathtub. Same guy at the bottom of the bathtub. What do you call him?
Oh, this is that old that I can't remember. How old are you, Richard? For fuck's sake?
It's Dwayne. on a thin, shiny metal pole.
There's a lot of Susie jokes that I
On
can't remember.
On a thin, shiny metal pole. What's his name?
Flag.
Flat, yeah.
Not
Flag.
flag.
No, it's a thin metal pole. Thin, shiny metal pole.
I don't know. You said shiny metal pole and the viewers went up by 2. We're getting good here.
Hanging on the wall in your living room over your fireplace.
A mirror.
Matt. Art.
Yeah.
Art. I'm lost.
And then there's the extended version of that.
There's an extended version.
This beautiful woman's jog. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I was shocked that there was an extended version of Art.
Oh, definitely. There's a beautiful blonde-haired woman jogging down the beach in California, and she stops to see this because this man is nodding at her. He has no arms and legs. He's just lying on a blanket on the beach. And she stops and says, yes, sir, what can I do for you? He says, I was born this way. I have no arms and no legs. I've never gotten a kiss from a woman. She looks around, no one's looking. So she bends over and she gives him a wee little peck. And she jogs on. But the next day he's there again and she's jogging. And he nods at her and she stops. And he says, pardon me, miss. I was born this way with no arms and no legs. And I've never had a woman hug me. So she stops and she looks around and no one's looking. So she picks him up and she gives him a hug and sets him back down and she jogs on. But the next day he's there on the beach again. And you know what he's going to ask for. So she stops and he says, there's never been a woman that, I'll use the word screwed. Screwed me. So she looks around and no one's watching. There's no one on the beach at all. So she throws him in the water.
I am totally fucking lost. Is anybody else lost? Is that the point of the joke, to get the person
He's got no
lost?
arms and legs. He can't swim. Trust me, when he hit the water, he was screwed.
Right. Well, on that topic, I ask you a joke, man, Richard. Why did Susie fall off the swing?
Don't know.
Because she's got no arms.
Okay.
Knock, knock.
Oh my God.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Not Susie. She ain't got no arms.
Is there?
Susie got a present for Christmas. Bet you can't guess what it was.
She had to guess. She's got no arms.
No, a pair of
Mittens.
gloves. Right, that's me. I'm fucking
A
done.
couple of what?
She got a pair of gloves. Her parents are
gloves.
sarcastic.
I said mittens. It's the same thing.
Ah, well, there you go. I didn't hear mittens, but we'll give it to RCA. We'll give him at least one.
He's got that one.
Here, I've one more. I've one more. Do you know who pushed Jimmy off the cliff?
I don't.
Neither do I, because it definitely wasn't Susie. She ain't got no arms. Oh, you started the no arms jokes, all right? We're not being... Yeah. Oh. Yeah, we could go all night with that. But this is it. This is it. We're like 2 minutes off 2 hours. Who's got 2 minutes? We'll throw questions out. 2 minutes of questions. Casey Asius, I didn't say hello. Hello. Potato. Maya, always good seeing you. Any questions from the audience? Anything for RCA? Because you'll probably never see him again. He doesn't come on to the... After this, he's definitely never come on to a live stream again.
Oh man.
Well,
I might.
At
I
least
might.
we can
I had
all
a good
laugh
time
together.
today.
Oh, right. This one guy's got a joke. Go for it.
Well, don't tell us you got a joke. Tell us the joke.
Well, he had to alert us in the chat and let us know. I sent him the fucking link. He didn't join. I sent him the fucking link. He didn't join. I'm repeating myself. Potato.
He could join for the last 2 minutes. Come on and tell your joke.
Come on in, Tug. Do you want it? You've got the link, man. Jump in and tell your joke. And we're all waiting. Richard, another thing I want to talk to you about. I didn't know that you
Yes,
had
sir.
done time with the Army in Desert Storm. If you heard
Yes, sir.
earlier, my dad was in the TA and stuff like that. A lot of respect for the Army, man, and what you've done. Thank you very much for your service.
Yes,
You
sir.
as well, sir. You as well.
I did fuck all. I hung my dad's bandana in a fucking car. You actually did something for your country. Thank you very much. I hated the Army at the time. That's a whole story that I think you might have heard, might not have heard, but... We're still fucking waiting. Oh shit, I haven't hit the plus. I'm looking at the chat and not at the actual stream. Hello, Tug.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, can you hear me? Everything's good?
Everything
Yeah, we
seems
can
to
hear
be
you.
good on this end.
Good.
Okay,
Tell
cool.
the joke, man. Tell the joke.
We're
Okay,
waiting on your joke. Come on.
What happens when a Jew walks into a wall with a boner?
I'm thinking that mystical wall in Israel, in Jerusalem, where people put messages in it, but that's definitely not the way this joke is going. All I can see is a lot of people with yarmulkes on their head pushing penises into the giant wall now. Go on ahead.
You guys want to know the answer?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
fucking dying too, man. You've got a picture in my head. Please get rid of it.
His touches the wall first.
Pardon?
His nose touches the wall first.
But don't bump.
Jesus.
I heard that one in a movie and I was like, I'm gonna share this one forever.
No,
'cause it
no,
made me
no,
die.
no. You can't say that. I've heard you say that before. Look, I'm racist, but it was in a movie. It's okay.
No, it was. Swear to God, it's by
That's fine. It's
Paul
fine.
Rudd.
That damn racist movie. Don't watch that movie again, man.
movie.
There you go. We just broke the 2 hour mark. Thanks, Tog. That's a wonderful way to demonetize the end of the stream. I've no more Susie jokes. I don't know. No arms. Boom.
Yeah,
There's a
I
fucking.
don't know any more Newfie jokes. Richard knew them all already, so.
Yeah, he did. So, but there's bound to be lots of multiplication or multiple versions of that, you know.
Sure. In America, those are all blonde jokes.
Yeah, yeah. See, yeah, and you could go the whole your mama, you know, like what's your
There's a
mama's what's
that I know.
what's your mama's belt size? Equator. Ha ha. Loads of them, you know. Right. Well, thanks everybody for turning up. Tug, I appreciate you, man. You're yeah, gotta love you. If anything, you push buttons and you're special. Everybody's special. Gotta love you.
Thank you, thank you. I would have joined this stream, but I'm at work and it's pretty loud because I'm vacuuming like all the freaking time. So that's why I didn't join.
Well, I
I figured that's
appreciate you
my
thinking
time.
about our audio quality because our audio quality has been so fantastic tonight. There has been no echo. The volume has been perfect the whole way through. Our audio is bang on, you know.
Yeah, it's been pretty good tonight.
Ah, well. Sarcasm will fucking kill every cat. I don't know where I'm going with that. Right. Thanks very much for turning up, Tug. What you've got a stream with Richard tomorrow, yes?
Up tomorrow at 6 Central for his time, I believe.
So 6 Central. What's that Eastern Standard?
7 Central, 7 East Coast, I think.
And then
I don't
another
remember.
5 makes it mine. So that would be midnight.
So 7. About. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Sammy Jenkins lives in Australia. He's 9 hours ahead of me. So you're 5 and then another fucking. You know, imagine the time difference between you and him. When Sal and him actually have conversations, they're talking between different days. They're actually on different days because he's in California and the eye guy's in fucking Australia. It's mental. Right. Richard and one guy, Revelations tomorrow. RCA will be there taking notes. I'll probably be sleeping, but everybody should go and like and subscribe and all that shill work. And thanks for turning up. Really.
Yeah, no worries.
You know, fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I had a fun time.
Yeah. Thanks very much. I'll end the stream and then we'll all have our gay sex off screen and we'll talk to you later.
Yep.
Joking.
Peace, everyone.
Joking. Come on now.